What's up, you guys? My name is Caitlin Ford and welcome back to my channel. I apologize for this video in advance because even though this is not going to be the first video I post on YouTube, this is actually the first video that I am filming on YouTube. It's probably going to be awkward for me. It's probably going to be awkward for you too because you're the one watching it. So my bangs are a mess. I gotta get that shit straightened out before I make my grand YouTube debut, of course. So we're gonna be talking about my bangs today. I am a professional hairstylist, so this is going to be a little bit more geared to professional hairstylists. This might not be like the easiest type of like technique to do on yourself. Here are my like general supplies for when I'm doing this on myself or anyone if I'm doing it on a client. I have a balayage board. We are going to put our colors on this. It's gonna be like a color palette. I like doing the balayage board for this because it doesn't take a lot of color to get through my bangs. I just need like a little bit of each color instead of having like 3,000 bowls for my color, which are a pain in the to clean off. I much prefer to use the balayage board. So these are Sensi-Do brushes. They're really similar to the Framar brushes. Oh God, oh my God, Caitlin. So they're really similar to the Framar brushes. They've got like the same like handle deal going on and very similar bristles. And I thought I had more of these small ones, but for some reason I don't. So I have a couple of big ones, a couple small ones, like we'll just make it work. I'm gonna use in place of clear is conditioner. I use conditioner to dilute all the time when I don't have clear. I very rarely actually buy clear because I'm like, it's so expensive, especially like if you're trying to dilute a color down to a pastel, you know, it gets a little ridiculous when you need to use like 2 or 3 tubes of clear. Conditioner works just fine in my experience. Just use a white conditioner, it'll make it easier for you to tell like how intense your color is. But other than that, it doesn't really matter what you use. Obviously, my bleach is already done. I was too lazy to show you guys like how I bleach my bangs out, but overall, when you guys see the color placement, that's more or less how I place my bleach too. You can see they're not completely bleached out. Like I actually have that part off the top here. You guys will see that the underneath is my natural base color that's all over the rest of my hair. You see I run my fingers through, it kind of breaks apart a little bit and then you get these like black parts poking through. And the other thing that I also do is I pick up the spot that's bleached and I actually will texturize the very ends of my hair when I cut it. So that way you can kind of see some of that black like peeking through on the ends here too. So these colors, I'm using them as direct dye, so your hair has to be bleached for you to see it. Like unless you are some kind of unicorn, like an actual living unicorn, you have to make sure your hair is bleached. Sorry. My advice to those who are scared of it is only get your hair bleached out by a professional because, girl, them bleach fails here on YouTube are just about, are like every hairdresser's worst nightmare. Don't bleach your own hair. It's a bad idea. You're gonna burn your scalp, you're gonna burn your hair off. Just don't do it. Don't do it unless you're a professional like me, okay? This is professional. Colors that I'm using are by a brand called Trillion Tones. I am a global ambassador for this brand, just as a disclaimer. So I do get this product for free. With Trillion Tones, there's not like 1,000 different shades with like the cute names and all that stuff. It's very artistry based. So the idea is you have 3 primary shades and then there's also an intense black and an intense brown. I do really like it. What's awesome about this particular brand is you can actually convert this direct dye into a color, like a permanent color. So you can add alkaline and developer to this, which are 2 products that are a part of the line. And they will lift and deposit fashion color at the same time. This is a new shirt and this is a really bad idea. It's like ketchup. Dip your fries in it. Okay, so there's the yellow and here is a little bit more. And I'm gonna dilute that second little blob of yellow with some conditioner. I'm gonna use the end of this brush to just swirl these together. Just swirl them. That is the technical term. For my middle, like silvery white color, I use this Matrix SoColor called, this is the, what is it, Stonewashed Denim. Here's what's crazy about this color, you guys. The first time I used it, I was concerned because when it comes out, it's green. It honestly like freaked me out so bad. The first time I used it, I was like, there's no way, because this packaging is supposed to be kind of like an indicator of like what it's supposed to look like. Do those look like alike at all? No, they don't. So what's really crazy about this color, what I discovered is when you put it on, it's sort of like, even though it's a direct dye, it still sort of oxidizes a little bit. So it actually changes like when it's applied. I don't know why, I don't know how. I'm not a scientist. Some conditioner on that too, like that. And this I want fairly diluted. I don't really want it to be like super gray because then it's gonna look too dark. I really almost want it just to like tone that silver, that shine line in my bang. So I don't really need it to be super concentrated. So that's that. So we're gonna put that on there. I'm just doing a tiny little dot of this because this blue is insane. Trillion tones, like in general, they say don't use their blue full strength because it is like that crazy. It is super strong. So don't use it full strength. Putting a pump of conditioner, 2 pumps, so it's like completely covered. So basically, here's my palette, and I'm really sorry. Life is not perfect, it is not ideal, and neither is this palette of color, but it makes sense to me, and I know what to do with it, so we're gonna go from here. My purple, I did not dilute at all, so that's the Pravana. Oh my god, it's slipping. This is the Pravana Violet. Anything else, and on the ends I like to use like a really dark purple. So Pravana Vivids Violet. There's my yellow. There's my dark blue, my light blue, red, regular yellow, reject yellow, and then my middle shine line color, which is going to be like a silvery metallic-y kind of white whenever it's finished. So the other thing that I use is Meche. And you guys are gonna see I'm gonna cut this, and then I'm gonna cut like a little half moon shape on the edge of this to basically kind of fit it into the shape of my bangs, because I'm crazy. Just like makes it really easy for me to kind of have a surface to paint on. It's gonna look weird, but you know, it's gotta get worse before it gets better. Give me 2 seconds to cut this up. Okay, so there's that. The last step in my little prep session here is I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my bangs. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna go ahead and part off where I don't have my hair bleached out. And I'm gonna have to look down. I've got like a mirror down here, guys. Sorry about that. I just cannot look into my iPhone screen and do this. I'm basically just parting off underneath here where my hair is not bleached out. Like I said, I cut this little half moon shape, so we're gonna place that right against my part line here. So now that you look fabulous, it is time to bang this out. I like the shape of the line, it'll be C-shaped. So I'm gonna take a very thin slice of hair here. The way that I'm taking my slice literally follows the perimeter of my parting, so it follows that sort of like half moon shape. I am going to go ahead and pump out just some plain conditioner here. And this I'm just going to use to help me sort of lay down the part of the hair that's not getting colored. So this dark part, my root area, we're not gonna color that, but I do want it to lay flat because it will give me more control over the overall placement. And what I usually do is I pull down the center first and I apply the conditioner pretty much almost all the way to where that bleached area starts, but not onto the bleached area because you don't want to end up with the color not showing up. So basically I'm just kind of fanning this out. And what that is doing is we are using direction and over direction to help create this sort of C shape here, shortening the distance between the root and the color on this side versus in the middle. The distance is a lot longer, so you have shorter distance here, longer distance here, and when it meets, it creates that sort of drop in the front and then higher in the back kind of appearance. Working with like 7 colors here, so you wanna make sure that you're pretty tedious with this. It's a lot easier to do if you're only using like 2 or 3 colors, but if you're using more colors, like this is a really small space, so you have to be careful about like just putting the tiniest little line. And I'm gonna very carefully brush that on. And sometimes it helps if I turn my brush to the side like this and kind of brush it into the hair this way, because I can get like a little more detailed with it. I try to kind of shift the hair like back and forth with my brush as I'm applying, like so, just to make sure I get that saturation. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of trying to like get this on these hairs, make sure that these hairs are saturated. So when I take my next section down, the top of this section will actually help to saturate the section that lays over it. So again, we're fanning this outward, and that's gonna help create the C shape. Again, you can see that there's much longer distance here in the center between the root and the start of the color versus on the edges. And looking at this, you can see exactly how I place the bleach too. So that should take the mystery out of that for any of you who happen to wish that you had seen that process. So now we're moving on to yellow. We're gonna use the full concentration yellow first. And then I'm gonna go in with the pastel yellow. And as I'm painting too, I'm trying to paint like in the direction that I'm like wanting the hair to kind of pull into to create that C shape. If I was to push the hair like this way, this hair is gonna wanna start pulling slowly this way, so the lines can start drooping on the sides a little bit if that happens. So for me, it works best to work from the center towards this side and the center towards that side. So now we're putting the silver on. So now we're gonna do the light blue. The final color is going to be purple on the end. All I'm gonna do is take this little scrap piece of mesh here, and I'm gonna set it right behind that corner. Now that we've got this really nice and saturated here, we're gonna go ahead and pull down our next slice, which is gonna be a little thicker. Usually once I get my first slice down, things are a little easier because I have like a guideline like underneath that I can follow with each slice I'm laying down on top of it. This is another little trick that I've recently started implementing into my hair doings. I'm going to take this piece of mesh here, we're gonna lay it right on top of this section, and I'm gonna push down, starting from the top, going down. And what that's going to do is it's gonna push my new slice into my old slice and help to saturate the back of it. The key here is you don't wanna press down too hard, just enough to get the hair to stick to it. And then you're gonna pull from this edge down to help keep the hair from popping up on the ends. So now you can see it's like really stuck down here. You can actually see the color peeking through where it's starting to saturate. So now we're just gonna follow all of the existing color lines in here. Okay, so you can see I've got all the colors applied. So now we're just going to give it about 20 minutes to process, and then we will rinse it. And I don't know why I'm saying we, like it's just me. I am gonna rinse this out, and to keep the colors from bleeding together, I'm going to rinse it with ice cold water. That is the key. People ask me all the time, what do you do to keep the colors from bleeding together? Ice cold water, honey. That's what you need. So now you guys will see if I take these clippies out here. My hair is like fully adhered to this thing. Okay, so this is my favorite part. Are you guys ready? All right, let's rinse this off. All right, you guys, so here are the results of my Bing placement application. So I'm gonna get nice and close up here so you guys can see. So you can see there's a really smooth transition between like each of the colors. It has like almost like an oil slick kind of feel to it. Probably a little biased because I mean it is my hair, but I really do love this method for applying hair color, and I would love for you guys to give it a try. Let me know what you think. And just as a reminder, if you want to see other hair stuff that I've done in the past, because like I said, YouTube's new to me, but Instagram is not, you can find me on Instagram at Caitlin Ford Hair. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe this video if you thought it was cool, if you thought it was helpful. And leave a comment down below if you have any ideas of things that you want me to show you guys, because I would be happy to show you guys. I hope you like my rainbow bangs.